This is David Moss with BIC Trikes. This is going to be a video on how to build the brackets. I'm just going to basically show you what I do. I'm not going to go through step by step. You should be able to figure it out, and I've got some other videos talking about how to weld things up. But this is a 2005 Honda Goldwing. This is the 1800cc. So if you got a 2005 Honda Goldwing, you order one of our DIY shippable kits. First question I get is, what do you build the brackets at? So I wanted to show this real quick. You'll notice that right here, we have brackets. I already have it together, so I can show what it'll look like when it's all together. You'll notice that there's no bolt hole here, all right, because it goes on this. So you remove your layover peg that keeps you from, scratching it too bad when you lay it over. You ain't got to worry about it because you're going to have this on a trike. So you'll take that off if you don't have a resit setup where it comes and hooks to the bottom of it. If you have one of those where it's got a resitch, then you do the replace the peg. You just take the bolts out and you put an angle wire and you replace the peg like we do on the 1500 cc's now. But I wanted to show you that, and I'll show you what it looks like on the other side because I haven't put it in yet. But you'll pull this off, and then I go ahead and put that little bitty bolt right there in that so you don't lose it. And then, like I said, you can see it's right here. It's powder coated black. It's a 2.5 inch flat stock. That's a 1/4 inch. And I'm going to show that on the other side real quick, and we'll show you how basically it gets put on. So on this side, you'll see I've got the side cover off. I've already removed it. You will want to replace the bolts because these bolts here, it looks like this, are aluminum. They're not grade 8s, so we replace them with 10-2. They're 8 millimeters with 13 millimeter head, sorry. And then this is what it looks like. So you can see that, take it, and I make it where it bolts up. And then the reason why this looks this way is because you got a cover to go over it, and it'll hold off, won't let your cover go down, so you'll shape it. And then you just basically, the way I show how to build brackets, and then you put it in, and then you just have to bolt this in. And once you bolt this in, this front part is done. And like I said, on the other side, I'll show you. You just simply, after that, you put your pieces back on, put your 2 screws in here, then you snap that in, and she's good to go. Now, as far as the back end, I just wanted to show you that. On the back end, it's like this. Now, on these bikes, they have a bar that goes right from here to here. I take and use that bar, and that's this right here. So as you can see, I add a 1.5 inch angle iron. That's an 1/8 inch thick. And you got to grind all the powder coat off, and then I weld it solid. So I'll put it in there, I'll put thing behind it, and I'll tack it in. And then to make it to where it bolts up like it should, I'll add 2 more pieces of metal, because these were bolt up on the back end, that will make it to where these can't go sideways. And these are the side pieces that you'll see right here. So you can see this goes on like this, onto that, with some bolts, and they'll bolt into the frame. So now you just simply, which you can kind of figure out, it doesn't hurt anything. You go on the inside. So what I do is that I come on the inside, I don't go no farther than that, and then I'll come on the angle iron on the inside, because right here you got a loop, and if you had set this up right, you want to scoot it back enough that the thing will come right down behind it, so you don't have to worry about this impeding. This being stuck out doesn't impede with anything. And if you end up taking off and getting rid of it, you can just leave this in there. Nobody's ever going to see it. Or if you think that you need to want to sell the kit to somebody else, then you can always just switch some bars or buy another bar as far as that goes. But these got these little bitty 10 millimeter bolts, and you'll put these in. And then I'm going to bolt this up to show you what it looks like before the plastic comes on, because once again, this is a 2005 1800cc. This is made to where you can pull that back tire off. So if you go to change your back tire, you still pull that off. You don't have to necessarily take it completely apart. It's got back from powder coat, but you take those 2 bolts off, pull it out after you pull the rear end out from under it, and then your people's got just as much room to do the normal work they do, so it doesn't impede with anything. It doesn't mess with anything, and you'll be able to get to it. And like I said, I'm going to show what it looks like in a second on when it's together, and then once I get it completely together, you can see how everything bolts up. But that, I just wanted to show you that because people ask me, and when I explain it, they can't quite grasp it, but you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so I've got it loosely bolted in. I got these bolted down tight, so this thing's on there, you can see. And then, like I said, you can see that I use 1.5" angle iron by 1/8 inch thick. I've already marked them, made everything, built it. Now that I'm putting it together, I leave these a little loose. That way, when I roll the rear end in here, I'll bolt it up. I'll put the 7/16 or 5/8 heads on them, and I'll bolt it down, and then I'll come back and tighten these down so it's perfect. And then, as long as you don't unbolt these, you can pull this off, put it on, take the rear end off, put it back on. You don't have to worry about doing it that way. But on the first time I put it back together, I do, because you want to make sure it's perfect. And there's a little slack, so if you tighten it down, you might be off about it. You can be up to 1/8 of an inch, and it'd be hard to bolt it back up. But that's what the back of it looks like now. And I'm gonna go and put this thing together, and then show you what it looks like before I put this on and close it all down. Okay, so now I got it all bolted down. I just want to show you before I put the cover on. And when you go to put this cover on, you don't put it in here and try to slide it. It may touch this. What you do is you bring it back down, then in, and pop it in. But these are all tight. This whole thing's tight. You can see I put the bolts right behind there. You can kind of see it. Just a minute, I'll get it where you can see it. There it is. See the bolt? And it's right behind there. Oh, refocus. And then also on these, I scoot it back enough that these land right here when they weld, but also so that I can get a stiffener bar in. So you can see that stiffener bar goes right through there. I've got a little bit of room. It slides right in. I bolt that up. You can go a little bit farther back if you want. I just like to be as close to that as I can. This is a stiffening bar. So what this does, we started putting these on the 1500s. Now we do it on the 1800s because customers like it. It makes it really stiff and hard. So the other ones, they don't wobble, but they say they give a little bit too much. So we started doing that. So if you're building your own DIY and you want to, that's 1.5" angle iron by 1/8 inch thick. You just send it to both ends, drill the hose through both of them, and there you go. You got yourself a stiffening bar, but you want to make sure you got enough room to put it in there and not hit the tire, and also not be too far this way so you're hitting the kickstand and that frame right there. So like I said, that's how you build the brackets. We're going to go ahead and put this thing together and get her done. I do appreciate it. Once again, like, subscribe if you like the video. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. Also, check out our website, BICTrikes.com. It's got the price list on it. You can go through there. If you're wanting a shippable kit, you can just give me a call, and we'll get you taken care of. Just need to know what your make and model your bike is so I can get you a shippable kit sent out. Once again, BIC stands for Brothers in Christ, where Jesus Christ gets all the glory. Thank you so much, and God bless.